Okay, hello everyone and welcome for Prepare for the Fair. This workshop today will get you ready for all the spring career fairs, summits, expos that will be taking place, and we'll share that information with you later on in the presentation. At any time during the workshop, feel free to ask questions. You can go ahead and type that in the chat box, which you'll see in the bottom center of your screen, and we'll go ahead and address those at the end. So there's a lot of information that'll be in the workshop. The great thing about it, we will share this with you following the presentation, so no need to take extensive notes. There'll be a lot of examples that you'll be able to actually take and use for your own scripts. So those will be coming to you via email following today's presentation. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So a little overview of today's workshop. We're going to learn how to research employers and prepare to attend career fairs, summits, expos. Usually all the same type of event, but they do go by different names. How to effectively communicate your skills, accomplishments, and goals with employers and recruiters. And also how to follow up with employers and professionals in your field of interest. So the learning objectives for today are to understand the importance of a career fair, summit, or expo, recognize the basics of a good resume, identify what materials you should have for a virtual career fair, and learn how to virtually interact with employers. You also learn how to know how to follow up. So some of the career readiness competencies that we use from NACE are these 8 subjects here, and the ones that we'll be actually using today will be in the next slide. Are career management, oral written communications, and professionalism and work ethic. So we'll start off with the importance of a career fair. It's number one, the ability to meet with employers and recruiters one-on-one. Currently, we're doing this in a virtual setting, but eventually you'll be able to do this in person. Opportunity to explore different careers and internship options. Network with representatives from a variety of companies and organizations. And then also the importance of making a first impression, a great first impression. So these items that are coming up here are things you'll be able to prepare for before the event. So number one, creating a winning resume. To the left there, you'll see an example of a clean, simple resume that you'll want to have on hand. Some things to consider: making sure it's easy to read. You're using the proper font, which we have here as an example. Using the proper font style, so Times New Roman. Margins are correct. Another important action would be not to have action verbs and keywords. No personal pronouns, so no I in your resume. You want to keep it to about 1 to 2 pages. So at the end of the presentation, we'll have some contact information for you as well for resume. I know that was very short. However, we have, as a Career Center, you can email your resume to us to do review. And then there's a lot of tools too on our Career Center page to actually help you build your resume. So resume is not 100% needed to attend any of our virtual career fairs, but it is very helpful if you're, especially if you're actively looking for employment. But you can also attend a fair just to gather information on companies and ideas of where you want your career to go. So the next step will be researching companies that are attending the fair. So you're going to go ahead and browse the website for each company that will be there. And in a minute, I'll show you how to actually look them up in the Handshake event itself. And a lot of times their links to their websites are there already. Identify your top companies, the companies they actually want to meet with the day of the event. Research company goals, mission, and vision. You want to match your professional goals with those of potential employers. and if possible, understand their company culture, their organization structure, different departments they have, and career opportunities. And then one thing to remember, do not limit your options. Be open to relocation if possible, or even check out some information sessions for companies that that don't really stand out to you at first. But if you have some free time, you should join, because you never know when you might find an opportunity that you just really weren't aware about, and they actually are a right match. So now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to go into a live Handshake demo. So I'm going to show you the student view, what you would see on how to register for a fair and research companies that are attending. Okay, so here you see the Handshake page. This is once you log in. Where you're going to go is to events. And then you'll see there's actually a lot of different types of events you might be interested in, but we're looking for the career fair. So we're going to click on career fair here. And the first one popping up, because it is tomorrow, April 8th, is our College of Education virtual career fair. So we're going to go ahead and choose that.
Tonight. It's tonight, John.
It is tonight.
Yes.
Wow, that happened pretty quick. Thanks for reminding me, Jackie. So this is taking place 5 to 7 tonight. Don't want to miss that. So here to the right where it says registered, because I've already registered for this event, be a big green button. You press register and automatically register for the event. And then what you can do is start researching the companies, the available sessions that you may want to attend. So here's a list of all 27 employers that will be participating. And as you can see, each employer has a little blurb about themselves. Some of them included a link to the website, and some will actually have linked jobs that are actually posted in Handshake that you can apply before the event or even after. So all the research is pretty much done for you here. It's just a matter of actually going through each one and deciding on which one would be a good fit for you and that you would want to attend. So there's a couple of ways to connect, and that will be either attending a group information session or a one-on-one interview. So I'm going to go back now and show you how to choose those. So you'll click here on the left on available sessions. And under each employer, they will have the sessions that are open for you to join. So for instance, CSUSB College of Education, they'll actually be having a virtual booth here explaining the different graduate programs that they have if you're going on to graduate school. And they have 2 group sessions, one from 5 to 5:30, one from 6 to 6:30. So if you're interested in graduate school program, you would choose one of these and you would start building your schedule for the day of the event. You go down here, you'll see San Francisco Unified. They have 4 open individual sessions, which is a one-on-one interview. And then they have 1 group session from 5 to 5:30. So as you notice here, some sessions do overlap. If for some reason there's one that you can't attend or it's full already, don't stress. You can always email the Career Center and we'll have that information in the PowerPoint we send you, and let us know which recruiter you want to be connected with, and we can always share your resume and connect you with them, and I'm sure they would be more than happy to meet with you one-on-one on another date. So this is pretty much what Handshake looks like. Really easy to access and to start building out your schedule. Okay, I'm going to go and stop. So I touched on this a little bit when doing the live demo. 2 different ways to connect with employers and recruiters the day of the event: group sessions, and this is up to 50 students. It's an information session from the employer. They usually have a PowerPoint, and then there's time for Q&A at the end, and then one-on-one. And those can become two different types of interviews. It could either be first interview with an employer that maybe you've applied to already, or it could be an informational interview where you have questions for them very specific to the type of employment that you're looking for and that they're hiring for. And this is where you'll want to have your elevator speech and everything on hand. And don't worry, we got you. We're going to be going in depth on how to build your elevator speech shortly. So some other things to prepare, you want to remember to keep it formal. You remain professional, respectful throughout your chat. Make sure you're on mute. Use proper grammar, especially when you're typing in the chat. Go ahead and use a spell check. Sometimes you can even have like a Word doc open on your laptop. Maybe type out the question there first, do a little spell check and cut and paste. Be polite. You want to ask insightful questions. Number one question not to ask is, what do you do? What positions do you have? Because we want to show respect that we've actually done some research. So open-ended questions are always good, just to show that you've actually done research. And then utilize a professional background if possible. So if you are going to be on camera, make sure that you have an appropriate background behind you. And we're going to go in depth about that as well throughout the slides here. Some other tips, you can type your responses in advance. Like I was saying, you can cut and paste here. Type your introduction, confidently say hello, state your name, inform the recruiter of your status. Are you a current student, recent graduate? When you're planning on graduating your degree program. Feel free to welcome the representative to the event and be prepared to give your elevator pitch. Prepare a short list of accomplishment stories and responses. This could be a little side note that you have at your table there, some highlights of either employment or any school projects that you've done. And then also you can prepare your closing statements, again, thanking them for attending today and how you can best follow up with them. So we have a list here of sample questions you can use for recruiters. And again, you'll get this in email, so you can go ahead and modify this for your use. Some good examples, I've applied for the following position and actually give them the job number. Can you tell me what the ideal candidate might look like? What excites you about the future of your company? Who do you consider your top competitor and why? May I contact you if I have any other questions? These are really good intro open-ended questions that you can use. And again, you'll have this on hand when we email it to you. So another thing to keep in mind is dressing appropriately. If you are going to be on camera, you want to dress professional just as if you were meeting them in person. And what does that look like? Wear professional attire. Your dress also impacts your mood. You'll feel more confident. At least a minimum of like a collared type of shirt, jacket if you have it. Ties are very much optional now, as long as I would say a minimum of at least like a polo or something with a collar type shirt. You want to avoid bright colors, patterns, anything that could be distracting. And then you can also maybe test out your video first to make sure that the lighting looks good, especially if you're wearing like glasses. You want to make sure there's not a lot of glare coming off of it, and just making sure that you're making the very best first impression. So setting up your camera, what does that look like? Again, simple background, no distractions. If you're comfortable with Zoom and you know how to set up a virtual background, such as myself and Jackie have right now, I would say that's probably the best, because you can really decide what it's going to look like behind you. You want to make sure that your head, shoulders are visible. Use headphones if possible. That's what I'm using here. Sit about 10 to 20%. Make sure that 10 or 20% of the screen above your head is empty. So there's some room here. You don't want to lean in and be too close to the screen, make everyone feel very uncomfortable. So go ahead and test that out. Remember to smile and nod throughout the presentation. You'll be surprised, a lot of presenters, they actually do glance over at the people viewing their presentations, and it really makes them feel good and helps them out when they see there's responses. Especially when you're doing this in a virtual setting, it can almost feel like sometimes you're just presenting to yourself. So anytime someone nods, smiles, it's really a welcome sight. And again, avoiding jewelry, anything that makes noise or can be distracting. So setting up your camera, if you're using multiple monitors, so I actually have 2 monitors here. I have my camera placed on the monitor that I'm actually using right now to read my prompts. And that way it looks like I'm looking at you and I'm not looking to the side here reading something. If you're using a cell phone for these events, you want to make sure that it's at the proper height. So maybe you can stack it on some books and make sure that it's stable. I've actually been guilty of doing an Instagram live chat, and I've had the cell phone fall on me. And it's really funny now, but at the time, it's not so much fun. So you want to make sure that you're all set up there. And then at your desk, have a copy of your resume, a notepad, and then of course you got to have your water, because if you are speaking and get a little dry mouth, you want to be prepared with some water. So what if things go wrong? And oh, they can in this virtual world. So these are some of the 3 things I think that can happen, and some tips on what to do. So if your video or audio stops working, especially like during a one-on-one interview, before the interview, you can ask if there's a phone number that you can follow up with the recruiter in case you get disconnected. Or if the video cuts out, you can also ask them if you can continue via phone or even reschedule if it's that bad. If noise interrupts the conversation, always just apologize, ask for a few moments to go ahead and take care of what the noise is. So you can mute your mic and then make sure that the distraction's gone. And again, if you use a headset, that helps out a lot because it usually blocks out any ambient noise that's going on around you. Another item that happens a lot is someone enters the room while you're actually presenting or speaking to somebody. Just go ahead and apologize. Go ahead and mute your mic. Maybe go off a camera for a second. Step away. Deal with it. Ask the person that let them know you're in an interview. Come back and then just get back on camera and continue. No need to go into a long explanation of what happened or that why your dog won't stop barking. Just go ahead and apologize, stop, take care of it, come back, you'll be fine. Everyone really understands what it's like these days. So now we're going to go ahead and speak about the elevator pitch. The all important elevator pitch is really your great first impression. So when networking before your actual job search, when at a career fair, or when answering tell me about yourself during a job interview, that is your elevator pitch. So some key components about the pitch is using your education, your academic background, work experience, professional background, any transferable skills you may have, what you have to offer, your current status, employment opportunities you are seeking, and you want to remember to keep it between 30 seconds to 2 minutes max. The length of an elevator ride. That's where the whole term comes from, elevator pitch. If you were to get into an elevator with a recruiter, a CEO of a company you really wanted to work for, and you only had about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, let them know who you were and how you can help them, that would be your pitch, your elevator pitch. So other item I like to use in developing an elevator pitch is the news, name, education, work experience, skills. Keep it really simple. Those are the 4 main parts of an elevator pitch you'll need. And the great thing is we are providing you with not 1, not 2, but 3 elevator pitches to use. So hopefully one of these would be a great fit for you. You'll receive this via email. Feel free to modify it, use it, and make it tailored to yourself. So the first example would be an academic elevator pitch. So maybe someone that doesn't have a lot of work experience, this is something they would use. So hello, my name is Cody Coyote, and I have always had a passion for cybersecurity industry. This was my drive for pursuing a degree in information systems and technology with a concentration in cybersecurity. I'm particularly interested in and this is where you would enter the job or internship that's available at your company, which I recently applied to. I am an achievement and detail oriented. I work extremely well in a team environment and have been a team leader on several of my class projects. I'm familiar with the latest technologies such as, and I would label technologies that are in their job description, what their minimum requirements are. I believe I would be a great fit for your internship job. What advice would you give regarding what it takes to be successful in this field? I'm ending it now with an open-ended question. A little tip there for an even stronger targeted speech: add unique aspects of something that stood out to you from their mission statement or future goals you are with while you're chatting with them. Second elevator pitch here is for someone that has a lot of work experience. So here, Katie Coyote is introducing themselves. They're currently working towards a degree in business administration. One of the greatest strengths is their ability to, and this would be a strength that ties into their job description. I have also worked in the human resources field for X amount of years, and during this time have become an expert in the areas of, again, tying skills, transferable skills that you find in the job description. My supervisor, professors frequently commend me for being able to skill some kind of achievement. I recently applied for the job that you find on your company website, and I feel many of the core skills the internship job description is seeking, such as, again, examples that tie into a job description, are a good match with my education and qualifications. So for the third example, we'll make this a little interactive for those that maybe want to type this in the chat, or feel free to raise your hand and we can unmute you if you like. So let me know which type of speech Cody Coyote is using here. Academic, is it professional? Hello, my name is Cody Coyote. It's very nice to meet you. I will be graduating from CSUSB in May with a bachelor's degree in computer science and a minor in business. I've gathered a lot of professional experience in my computer sales, and I'm looking for a job in that field. This past summer, I gained valuable sales experience through an internship with Dell, and over the past 2 years have been active in getting my friend's small computer business off the ground. Based on my research, I know that you've recently expanded your product line to include wireless communication devices. I'm really excited by the recent innovations in wireless services and would love to learn more about what you're doing in that area. I'm also very interested in learning about the kinds of training opportunities and entry-level positions you have available to graduating seniors. So I'll go ahead and take a little bit of a water break here. If anyone in the chat wants to type in, what kind of elevator pitch do you think this is? Is this academic? Is this professional experience? Let me know what you think. Even any ideas of what you like, what stood out. Academic. True, I do see some academic there. So this speech is actually a little combination of both. It's someone that has academic experience and professional experience. So if you are that type of candidate, use a hybrid of both things. You want to use all your strengths. So good observation there. Let's move on to the next slide, please. So during the fair, let's look at what we're doing during the fair. So during the fair, you got this. No pressure. Why? Because you prepared ahead of time. Dress appropriately. And remember, if you're planning on standing up at any time, if you're wearing shorts, sweats, maybe you're going to have to dress fully in slacks and shoes and everything if they see you get up, or remember to stop your camera. That can happen. Have documents ready for access, so you're not searching for everything during the actual event. Have your resume, have your notepad ready. Mental picture of your resume and skills. So while you're preparing for an event, you're going to already develop a mental picture of what your skills are, what your resume looks like, even what your elevator pitch is, just automatically by writing it down, by typing it, by reading it. But you do want to at least have it a little bit memorized, and then also go ahead and have it printed out at your desk. Strategize your networking. So that means going on to the career fair page before the event and developing that schedule. Start picking those employers that you want to speak to, not waiting till the last minute because they can fill up. If you're shy, if you're not shy, I recommend setting some goals. So maybe if you're a little on the shy side, you're going to say, you know what, during each presentation, I'm going to ask at least one question. And instead of maybe typing them out, I'm going to raise my hand and actually speak a question. And just set little goals like that for each event, just to make yourself a little more comfortable. Open-ended questions. That is a secret to success. When did you, questions that start with those. And then remember that email chat etiquette, spelling, very important. Closing interactions. So this could be for a one-on-one. Ask for contact information from the recruiter. Usually they provide that up front. They put it in the chat, they give you information, but if they don't, they forget, you can always ask them for their contact information. Offer to email your resume or any documents that they may need. Thank them for their time. A lot of people don't do that. And it's a great way where you can stand out for thanking them for participating in our events. Take notes on the interaction. So if you're asking them, hey, when should I follow up with you? How should I follow up with you? You want to note that down and then get ready to get on to the next employer. So you want to maximize your time and really build out that schedule so you can speak with as many recruiters as possible. So after the fair, after the career fair, make notes of employers you spoke with. Send them thank you emails. That's the new thank you note. You used to send them in the mail. Now you send them via email. Usually have with a day to 72 hours, about 3 days to send them an email. Thank you. Real short and sweet. Follow up with employers 2 to 3 weeks after. If you have not received a response, this would be for any job applications. You've actually applied to the job. Usually give them 2 to 3 weeks, but a great question will be, once I apply, how long does the hiring process take, or the interview process, and when should I follow up with you? Add employer to your LinkedIn account. So if you have a LinkedIn account, it's ready to go. I would always go on there and add the recruiter or the employer, follow them. If you do not have a LinkedIn account or do not know what LinkedIn is, you can always look to connect with one of our career counselors and or attend a workshop on it. And then go ahead and do that once you set up a LinkedIn account. Maintain professional contact updates every 4 to 6 months. This is for someone that's actively seeking employment. Once you've made these connections, you do want to at least check in with them, let them know that you're still looking, maybe inquire about a new position that they posted. And then if you're actively looking for employment, it's always good to stay organized and create an Excel sheet of the company, position, title, the dates you apply to them, and when you should follow up. So these are things and skills that a career advisor, counselor can actually go through with you during like a drop-in that you may have with them. And if you check the chat right now, there's actually a link on how to set up an appointment with an advisor. Another gift from us, a thank you note example. So this is a real simple thank you note. This is actually kind of a long one. So I would say even maybe half the size of this would be a good email to a recruiter, depending on what that follow-up is about. But it's really 3 sections there. You're thanking them and reminding them where you met them. In the middle paragraph there, it's a little bit about your background and why you would be a good fit. And then your ask is in that 3rd paragraph, where you're maybe attaching a resume and saying, you know, I'd love to have time to speak with you or chat about my resume, about the position further. You can contact me here at this time. So real simple thank you note. Again, modify this for yourself, and we'll be sending this out to you. Some final thoughts on the whole process. Remember to stay confident, especially in that introduction. First and last name, minimum, what degree program you're in, when you plan on graduating. Allow genuine conversation to happen, to flow. Ask questions, open-ended. Do not interrupt. And then if you can, maintain eye contact and smile from time to time, especially if you're on camera. Make yourself interesting. So be proud of all the achievements and work you've done, whether that's academic, professional work, a little bit of both. Feel free to find common ground on any topics. So that would be a little bit more for like maybe a one-on-one interview where you're finding common ground, where maybe you're in their office and you notice something in the office that you connect with. Oh, you're a Laker fan. Oh, that's great. Me too. What great weather we're having, anything like that. That's probably going to be happening a little bit more when we meet in person, but you never know if they're working from home and you see something, you may be able to comment on that. Don't eat, drink while networking. Again, water's fine, but I wouldn't have lunch while you're on camera. It could be a little disturbing sometimes. We don't know what we look like when we're eating, especially if you think you're alone. Water's fine, maybe some coffee, but I would stick with water in case you have any spills, you're not staining anything there. Think about starting, ending the conversation, how you're gonna start it, how you're gonna end it, and do it gracefully. And with all of those open-ended questions, examples we've given you, the elevator pitch, thank you notes, you can only do it gracefully. So you're in a good place. So before we go on to the different events and everything coming up, do we have any questions out there? Feel free to type them in the chat, raise your hand if you'd like. I'll give it a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and show you some upcoming events and places you can actually use these skills. So spring, remaining events we have, of course, it is today. It's from 5 to 7 p.m. College of Education Virtual Career Fair. Now, this is open to all students, all graduates, alumni to attend. Of course, the focus is on the College of Education, so there's going to be a lot of school districts there looking for talent, not necessarily just teachers, because if you know, school districts do employ an array of positions there. So you can always check out who's going to be there, go to their career site and see if there's anything that matches you. But feel free to register. There's still time, 5 to 7 today, group sessions, one-on-ones. Next week, it's going to be a busy week. We have our PDC career fair on April 15th, Thursday. So this is, again, open to everyone. Of course, there's going to be a lot of employers that are local to the Palm Desert campus. However, there's some other employers that may have some remote positions. It is open to anyone to attend. So feel free to register for that. It's from 1 to 4 p.m. and you would register via Handshake. The registration links are going to be here in the email that we sent you. And then later on, May 6th, that'll be the final event of the spring session. We have our graduate virtual career fair. So the graduate career fair open to everyone. In addition to employers, there'll be a lot of grad schools there sharing their programs as well. So next week, same day as the PDC career fair. So the PDC fair is from 1 to 4 p.m. However, we're also participating with HSI, which is Hispanic Serving Institutions. So that's other universities that are part of HSI. We're doing a virtual summit and expo. So that's actually a large career fair. I believe there's over 138 employers that are registered for that. And you all can register and attend. So it's a great event. And that fair will be taking place next Thursday from noon to 6. So you actually can attend both fairs. You'll be ready to go. You'll be kind of warmed up already. the day before the fair, Wednesday the 14th, will be the summit. Kicks off with a keynote speaker, Leo Court. He's the CEO of Airbnb. So that might be of interest to you. And then later on from 2 to 2:55, there'll be an employer panel. So you might want to check that out again next week, April 14th and 15th, a lot of events going on. Some general information here on career advising. So all the links are in the chat, I believe. These are the different subjects that you can meet with a career advisor. Anything from exploring your major, looking at a resume, just how to do a job search, creating a LinkedIn account. Some things that are important to know: if you are setting up a schedule, if you're a current student, you will use Navigate. If you are an alum, you'll use Handshake to schedule those appointments. Virtual drop-in advising. These are like mini appointments, 15 minutes. Those are available for you. Another great resource I love, email reviews. So this is for those cover letters, for those resumes. You can go ahead and email the Career Center direct, and it usually takes about 2 to 3 days, and they'll go ahead and review your resume for you. And our general information for our main campus here, our PDC Center, we work together, all one. And feel free to always send us any questions and check out our site from time to time. Best place to find out about events and things going on, of course, is Handshake. So you always want to log in and check that out from time to time. So great. A lot of information shared with you today. Again, we will be emailing this to everyone. We have about 5 minutes left for a little Q&A. Any comments, let us know. We'll be here. Feel free to ask any questions. You can also unmute yourself. If not, everyone's free to go. I know you might want to be getting ready for the College of Education Fair, but we'll stay here until about 2:45 and answer any questions you may have. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for attending today. Good luck at the College of Education Fair. And again, remember next week you have a few more to use these skills at. Take care, everyone. Thank you.